Hello and welcome to the show. This week's versus the community, we are running A-Class Ford Mustang GTs. These cars start off at C-Class, so there is plenty of room to upgrade them and tune them however you want. A-Class cars often can be a little bit chaotic. For us, we've had some, interesting races with these, with the sort of the faster cars. And I know the Mustang is not the best for handling vehicles to start with, but I thought it would be interesting. It sort of becomes a bit of a mini tuning competition as well, as to what parts you put on, how you build your car, and how you tune them. So yeah, I thought we'd give it a go and see what happens. On the first lap at Sedona, Husky had started from, I believe it was 14th on the grid, and he is halfway around the lap and is about to move up into 4th. That is a pretty impressive start to have made up 10 places. I mean, it does help when the cars around you fall off the road a little bit. The first corner here at Sedona is an interesting one. It's a great place for overtaking, as another car just outbrakes himself. This corner here is very nasty. The first corner at Sedona is a great place for overtaking. Can be a little bit of a mess on the first lap with a lot of cars concertinaing into a very tight hairpin. This corner here is also rather terrible. There is some sticky stuff at either side of that chicane, and if you get your car on it, you just stop dead. And because it's a very sort of fine margin between the sticky stuff and where the curb is, very, very easy for cars to run into the back of you. Seen many a big crash on that corner before, with somebody getting stuck on the grass and a car behind, sort of not realising or not being able to react in time. Yeah, there have been some big old accidents on there. However, despite the fact that we are driving A-Class muscle cars, some of these with a lot of power, things were going remarkably smoothly. Yeah, there had been a few bumps on the opening lap, and that happened quite a lot of times. There were many cars ran wide at the top of that hill. They're a very common place to run wide with just normal cars, let alone with these. However, things were going remarkably smoothly. I should point out, as things go, there's a little bit of a bump going on there, but everybody got away with it. There was some lag going on in this race. That it wasn't massively bad at the moment. It was just sort of little cars, little movements from the cars. But yeah, that was a slight annoyance. As I said, Husky had a phenomenal start. He'd got past me as well. I'd built a power car, and this was not really its favourite of tracks. It took me a while to get the hang of my car. And Husky had gone for a much more handling vehicle, which while he struggled on the two sort of straights, he had so much grip through the corners. You can see he's caught right up to the back of the leader, and is now trying to challenge for the first place, going for the very brave move. You get the inside line for this corner, that's fine, then you've got a very long way around. This is a long corner. You need a lot of grip to be able to make the move stick. Ignore the damage, that's a laggy replay. And Husky has a wheel on the dirt, is still alongside, however can't quite get the move done. The multicoloured Mustang has just got better acceleration, and then it's through the nasty chicane. Husky gets it all a little bit wrong. He got caught out by the amount the car in front braked. He managed to stop it, but now he finds himself under attack from me. I'm running the Death Race Mustang because you have to run that paint job when you run one of these cars. I got things a little bit wrong coming onto the straight, the corner that you don't normally think about. In these you do. I was running, quite a bit more horsepower without any weight reduction, which made my car rather interesting. There was battles going on throughout the entire pack, pretty much. At the back, things got a little bit spread out. This is over, I think, sort of 6th and 7th. There's a nice cutback going on there. Somebody just outbraked in the background. Somebody's off on the dirt as well. Yeah, we saw a few cars escape onto the dirt. I think at one point I had to as well. Again, very easy to outbrake yourself if you're not used to the track into that first corner. So the black Mustang is, again, this is another one of the more handling cars. This track is definitely suited to the handling vehicles. While yes, there are a couple of fairly long straights, there are also a lot of fast corners around here. You really want a good handling car, and the black Mustang is all over the back of the car in front trying to find a way past. The problem is you only really have 2 good overtaking spots at Sedona. You might get around the outside here, as I said, but you need so much grip to do it. You might get up the inside, but it's unlikely the car in front will give you the space to be able to do that. You're not going to pass through here. It is incredibly rare you get 2 cars wide through that corner, especially not these cars on a track that nobody knows what track it's going to be. So yeah, on a track you've not necessarily practiced, it's just so unlikely to go too wide through that chicane. Your best opportunity is the first corner, and as you can see, the black Mustang just doesn't have the straight line speed. He can't get his car alongside, can't get up the inside into the first corner. The red Mustang runs a bit wide, the black Mustang is sideways as well. But yeah, if you don't have the straight line speed while you'll be setting faster lap times, it can be very, very difficult to overtake around this track. At the front, and things were getting rather close. It was a four-way battle for the lead. Probably one of the closest races, sort of like the closest at the front with 4 cars we've had for a long time. This was a race-long battle as well. This wasn't just a case of like 1 or 2 laps we were all here. This was pretty much a race-long battle. I just about got into a rhythm with my car. The car in front as well. We were both pretty much power cars in second and third. As you can see on the straight, we closed so much on Husky. I think mine was the fastest car of the lot, but didn't quite have the acceleration. There is a big dive from the multicoloured car. Husky ran a little bit wide. He tried to come back with a cheeky cutback, but couldn't quite make it stick. And now it comes to the very fast sort of uphill chicane. This is where Husky's car could make a lot of ground on, well, pretty much everybody. You can see just how much of the gap he is closing as they came up that hill, and now he's right behind the multicoloured Mustang. Your second best overtaking spot is this corner up here. However, the multicoloured car goes very defensive. Husky has a wheel on the dirt. He's going sideways in the braking zone. That's pretty scary. He sees a gap, manages to do sort of a cutback. Now he's where you want to be. You want to be on the inside for this next corner, and there we go. The move can finally be done after a good few corners of manoeuvring. In all of that though, it's me and the blue Mustang that are joining in the fight as well now. Blue Mustang got alongside me on the exit of that corner. However, I had enough acceleration in my slightly mental Mustang to get away with it. Everything goes wrong for Husky, just locking his brakes, I think, into the chicane. Somehow, and I am not sure how, we all avoid him. It was one of those moments of close your eyes and hold your breath and pray it all works, and somehow we all got past without clattering the front of his car. Yeah, I was pretty damn scared. I think I was the closest to it. I don't know how we all got away with that. That's what I was talking about with that sticky stuff being so dangerous. Yeah, we got quite lucky on that one. There was battling going on everywhere. To an extent anyway. This wasn't sort of like further back, wasn't quite the most exciting racing. There was still some overtaking to be had as a yellow Mustang outbrakes somebody into the first corner. Yeah, the racing did get a little bit spread out. As I said, there were a few slightly laggy cars. It's one of those things, you can't really do much about it when it comes to online racing. One of the problems with online racing, there was a little bit of lag going on this one. This car gets very sideways over the crest of the hill. As we come on to the final lap, I believe, and it is still a 4-way race for the lead. The multicoloured Mustang goes very, very defensive into the first corner. I was too far back. I couldn't have a lunge. Husky's all out of shape on the grass. I know I have one real opportunity if I'm going to take this win. I need to get a good run through the uphill chicane, which I do, and the car in front of me struggles a little bit, just gets a slightly poor exit on the second part, and now I've got the drive, I've got the speed towards this next corner. However, the multicoloured car again goes very, very defensive. It's going to be very hard to go around the outside, especially when I've got a car right behind me as well. I try to do a bit of a cutback. There's a little bit of a tag between the pair of us, and now the blue Mustang finds himself on the inside. There's really not room for 3 Mustangs wide, and unfortunately it is the blue car that comes off the worst. I am trying absolutely everything I can to get my car up the inside. However, I just can't quite do it. The multicolored car's got the acceleration. I end up being back alongside Husky. In the end, Husky has to yield as we go through the very fast chicane. As I said, 2 cars wide doesn't really fit through there, and I have to concede that I cannot take the win of this race. This was probably one of the best races I've had on Forza for a very long time. It really was an absolutely excellent race. Any one of the 4 of us could have won it. My AI also has a think about doing an overtake into the first corner. Yeah, it really was incredibly exciting at the front. There was some good racing going on further back as well. It was it was an amazingly close race. Very, very fun considering we are driving fairly powerful Mustangs. Not the outcome I thought there may be. I'd hoped it would be good racing. You never know. We move on to the second race at Laguna, Seca, and there's somebody off on the dirt already. First corner here is always pretty scary. There was some lag going on in this race. This was definitely the laggiest evening we've had so far. Again, it wasn't massive lag. Well, Daniel was. Daniel turned up for this race and had so much lag he quit, and then we couldn't join for the third race. There you go. He was the black and blue car, all for sort of 2 corners. Again, there was sort of some lag with cars kind of jumping about a little bit. It's been worse, but yeah, that wasn't too good. it was my turn to make up a number of positions from the start. I'd started fairly down the order in like 10th or 11th or something, and quickly climbed through. My car was phenomenally fast on the straight bits. It was a little bit odd. I think I had like 540 horsepower in my car. Yet it was very understeering, which is how I like it. It drove very, very much to my liking. But yeah, it was weird to have so much power and not have a car that was manically oversteering. And I think I'd made my way up to 4th by the sort of halfway around the first lap. Husky had a much better start as the green car escapes towards the barrier. Husky had started much higher up and was soon battling for the lead. This is the lead battle. Again, some weirdness going on with the replays. I'm not entirely sure why the sort of the bright greeny yellow and purple car, why there's smoke coming out of it. On the replay it lags and hits a wall and then bounces off it again, and I presume that that's not actually what happened. So I don't know if this car had damage or not, because it was going fairly slowly throughout the race. It did seem to struggle with pace. I have no idea what went on with this one. It's one of those things. Either way, Husky's car, much like Sedona, was very, very fast through the corner. Struggled a little bit in a straight line, but was kind of up against a car that was even slower than him in a straight line. So yeah, you got a pretty big advantage when you're very good through the corners and you're faster than the car you're racing in a straight line. Husky goes for the spectacular, and it's a brave move to go around the outside at the top of the hill. Luckily the car on the inside, I think, was even on the dirt there to give him enough room. That's a very, very good overtake. Is a very hard place to go around the outside. It's also very well driven from the car on the inside to give the guy enough room. That's the very important thing if you're going around the outside of somebody. Me and the red Mustang were both trying to make ground. We were trying to catch up to Husky before he got away at the front, and we got ourselves stuck. We spent a lap trying to get past this police Mustang. It defended very, very well from us. As we round the final corner, though, we were going to double team him on the straight. Then that's what straight line speed does for your car. I was probably one of the quickest cars in a straight line here. The red Mustang, though, despite running full aero, was blooming fast as well. We managed to soar past the police car into the... Not very often you say you soar past a police car as well. Into the first corner. They then try to have a look up the inside of me as I run a little bit wide. Again, some slight lag goes on, and I managed to get to the position. Again, it was another very exciting race, this one, with plenty of action going on. I think I had a wheel on the... Lots of cars had wheels on the dirt on that corner. A bit further back in sort of the midfield, and a blue Mustang tries to hold it around the outside. That's a tough place to go around the outside of somebody in cars like these. However, the green Mustang gets very brave in what I would say is the overtake of the evening. That is that is not a place you see a car go around the outside very often. Especially, I'm pretty sure the green car had a wheel on the dirt as well. That is a brave place to try and do an overtake. He gets away with it, and now it's the straight line speed. It's the drag race down to the first corner. The blue Mustang is a little bit quicker in a straight line. The green car, though, goes to the inside and covers, and the blue car is all a little bit locked up and a little bit out of shape there. Gets it stopped in time, but cannot get back. The green car is going to have to settle for whatever position they might have been fighting over. I'm not really sure. There was lots going on in this one. Again, me and the red Mustang were on a charge. I was pretty much bringing him with me, trying to catch up to Husky. My car was actually very, very good around here, and as we come out onto sort of the climb up the hill, I go for the spectacular as well around the outside. The yellow and purple Mustang again gives me plenty of space, and I managed to get the move done. The red Mustang also gets a very good drive out of that corner and can get past the Mustang before they get to the corkscrew. Again, whenever you go around the outside of somebody, I didn't quite know how much space I had on the inside. While I would love to be able to look to the inside and see what's going on, you're so busy trying to make sure you get your braking and your cornering right, you just don't have time to look there. It's one of the downsides of racing when you just cannot, on games where you just cannot look. I have a quick glance to your left when you just can't get all the buttons and stuff. Yeah, I had a little bit more space than I thought I did on there, but it's so tough going around the outside at that particular corner. The purple and yellowy greeny Mustang was slipping back. I'm not sure if it, as I said, I'm not sure if it was from damage or just the car struggle around this track. May have been running too much sort of aero, too much downforce, and being too slow in a straight line. Slides off the track. Again, we saw quite a few cars going off at that corner. I mean, These cars, depending on how you build them, they're never going to be the easiest of cars to drive. They're going to be fairly heavy and they're going to be fairly fast at the front, and Husky had held the lead for pretty much the entire race. While I'd been dragging the red Mustang with me, we were catching him. We were going to run out of laps. It was on the final lap. However, Husky locked his brakes up to the corkscrew, just could not get his car stopped in time, and ended up on the sand trap, which pretty much gave us first and second. It had been another incredibly close race. Despite the red Mustang got past me at one point, and then I very swiftly got back past just because of the pure straight line speed of my car. I could not drop him. I spent the entire race being pressured by the car behind. He couldn't fight. It wasn't sort of like the lots of overtaking that was going on. I was just under constant pressure to sort of make every line right and get every braking zone right. It was very good fun. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Maybe a little bit less exciting further back, but yeah, that was a very good race for me. As we move on to the third and final race at Road Atlanta, me and Husky had started in, I think, second and third. With my very powerful and fairly fast starting, I soon found myself up at the front. However, Husky, with the much better downforce, the much more grip, managed to get up the inside and pass me as we go through sort of the top of the hill. This race is where things got really bad for the lag. There was a big first corner incident that I'm not sure if lag was involved with or not. And then, yeah, there was lots of bumping and lagging, and it wasn't very nice. As you can see, the yellow car is all over the place. And there was, yeah, this wasn't the best of race. Well, tell a lie, it was fantastic at the front. Me and Husky got away from pretty much all the chaos, and yeah, we went on to have an absolutely amazing battle. Further back, yeah, things didn't quite go to plan, thank you internet connections. As we run onto the long back straight, this is where my car sort of excels. I have the Shelby V8 engine, I think about 540 horsepower. I have no weight reduction though. To keep my car within the PI limit, I had to have no weight reduction. I thought I'd be brave with this build for my car, and yeah, it had a lot of speed. It was very fast in a straight line. However, through the corners, of course, it struggled under braking. It struggled a little bit, which means that as we come out of the chicane, despite all of that straight line speed advantage, Husky is right on the back of me. He tries to have a look up the inside at the final corner, doesn't have the acceleration to do it. However, he can carry more speed through there. I had a wheel on the dirt as well. That final corner is scary in a car like this. Husky then ends up on the inside for the first corner. Big slide on the exit. I've now got a slightly better run, and I got the better acceleration. I tried to stay on the inside at the top of the hill. We give each other space. Husky has a wheel on the dirt, or all wheels on the dirt, I think. Somehow manages to keep it in first. Yeah, when you go too wide at the top of that hill, that's another sort of close your eyes and hold your breath moment, and maybe everything will work out. And that time it did. Yeah, we had our cars a bit on the grass at times. It's, yeah, going too wide in cars that you've only driven for a couple of races on a track you've not driven them on before. That's pretty scary up the top on that corner. It's a very fast corner. I wasn't the only one driving a Death Race Mustang. This was another slightly different livery version of it. And I wasn't the only one to have a very fast car in a straight line. This thing was also pretty damn rapid. As you can see, it just breezes past the blue and white Mustang. That's really, I mean, I think the blue and white Mustang might have been a little bit slower. Ignore the car on its roof. There was a strange incident on there was lots of broken cars in this race. There was quite a few incidences. And the blue car got knocked from behind and ended up sideways on the grass and flipped. Anyway, back to the racing. Yeah, this other Death Race Mustang, phenomenally fast in a straight line. Really was. Probably quicker than mine, to be honest. However, it did struggle through the corners. If you're going to put that much power in a car, you're going to have to compromise on something to keep it within the PI limit. I'm not sure. I don't know. Who knows what he he knows what he compromised with. I don't know quite what was compromised with on this car. However, you can see, despite the fact that he just vanished from the blue car down that back straight, you can see how much he's struggling with it through these corners, and now the blue and white car is right back behind him. And this is what it comes down to, is how do you build your car, especially in a competition like this where we're all using the same car. How you build your car is very, very, very important. Yeah, this is what I was hoping to see. I was hoping to see lots of different ideas, different sort of styles of car. Now we've caught up to the back of whatever the car in front was. There's a white one and something, I don't really know. There's a dive at the top of the corner, the Death Race Mustang sideways, and the white and black one manages to go around the outside. That's Yeah, when the car on the inside is all locked up and sideways, it's pretty scary trying to stay out wide and stay around them, because you never quite know what they might end up doing. However, we're back on this very long back straight, and this is where the Death Race Mustang excels. Not quite as much of a breeze past as it was with the blue car. However, he's still very, very fast in a straight line, although you have got to get it stopped and turned for the final corner. This is what I mean with a lag. There was loads of incidences of this just going on. I mean, the yellow car was definitely the worst for lagging around. However, everything was lagging pretty much. I bumped into Husky a few times on the straight just with the cars jumping around, and there is nothing you can do. There's absolutely nothing you can do when the car in front just lags and stops and turns. You can't really avoid that. It's a shame, because up until this third race, things have been going very, very well for the Mustangs. Yeah, it was a bit disappointing, but yeah, pretty much, apart from me and Husky, everything was laggy and broken, near enough. We got away at the front, avoided all of the chaos, and had a fantastic race. This is going on to the final lap. Everybody else is, I think me and Husky were the only one to get away without damage. I think the car in third had a minor scrape with a laggy car, but yeah, other than that, everybody was very, very damaged from lag. So yeah, on to the final lap, and Husky was leading the race. It was still incredibly close though. As we close up on a back marker again, more lag was to cause problems. Yeah, it's just sort of one of those things. And when I was watching it, well, when we were doing the race, sorry, the incident that went on there looked a hell of a lot different. So I have no idea quite what happened. Either way, the back marker ended up on his roof, and Husky got away without. When we were driving, didn't look like he lost anything at all. As we come onto the back straight, though, I was close enough to use all of the speed of my car to get in front. However, it wasn't as simple as that. It wasn't a done deal. I still have to get my car stopped and turned for the final chicane, and then there is the final corner to contend with as well. I go very, very defensive. I know Husky's got much better brakes than me. I go very defensive through both the sections of the chicane. We both get a bit of a twitch, trying to put the power down as soon as possible on the exit. However, I've got the acceleration to get in front for the final corner. I know Husky can carry more speed, and as we cross the line, we were very, very close. In the end, I take the win. I'm pretty sure I had a win on the dirt around that final corner. It was an exciting race. We had sorry, I can speak. Me and Husky had an excellent race at the front. Unfortunately, the rest of that race was just laggy and broken, which is a real shame. The first two races were really good. Things went really well for the Mustangs. There was lots and lots of good racing in these, and I feared there may have been more sort of crashy incidences with them. But on the most part, a lot of the crashy incidences were down to sort of lag. Yeah, unfortunately, can't really do much about that. Hopefully next week things will be better. Anyway, that is it for today, so thank you very much for watching. Next week's FailRace versus the community, we are going to be running C-Class Japanese cars. We're going to be going on Forza 4 again. Where's the dates gone? I will look up the dates. We will be running it on Thursday, the 20th of February. We'll start at 7 PM GMT time. As far as cars go, I'm not going to ban any vehicles for this. However, I will ask that if you are a faster driver, if you'll be expecting to come towards the front of the field, please don't use the leaderboard cars. It just makes things more boring. I know the 99 and 97 Civic, I think, are pretty high up on the leaderboards on certain tracks. So yeah, I'm just going to ask, you know, if you're going to end up near the front, be creative, use something a bit different. I will also say one of the tracks we are going to be running is Maple Valley, so build your cars accordingly. As yeah, I like Maple Valley, I love the track. I just think I should give people warning because it is a notorious place for rolling vehicles. So yeah, build your cars accordingly. One of the races will be at Maple. I won't say the other two. So yeah, there's no advantage to it. In fact, I don't even know the other two yet. But yeah, that is it. That is everything for today. If you want to take part, then you can sign up on our forums. There will be a link in the description. You go to the Versus the Community section, and then all the sign-up information will be in there. Anyway, yeah, as I said, that is everything for this video. So until next time, goodbye.